Breaking news today. Reasons why the exile of Wagner supporters is causing concern among America's allies. The latest sign of unease among America's allies over the presence of Russian mercenary forces now based in this close Kremlin ally is Poland's announcement this week that it would move 10,000 troops to its border with Belarus. A rare challenge to President Putin's authority was posed by the mutiny led by Wagner Group chief Yevgeny Prigozhin and his hardened fighters. In addition to Russia's plans to bolster its flank, the deal to end the rebellion has added a destabilizing element to relations between Moscow and the West. Exiled to Belarus, the mercenaries are now aiding in the training of the country's armed forces despite having participated in some of the war's bloodiest battles. Though President Alexander Lukashenko has insisted they are only there temporarily, concerns have been raised about how close they are to the borders of NATO members Poland and Lithuania. Warsaw and its neighbor have been strong supporters of Kyiv's defensive fight and have long voiced concerns about the war spilling over to threaten their own security, but a flurry of moves in the past week suggests those fears have taken on new intensity. Polish ambassador to the United States Marek Magierowski told NBC News that defending Poland and protecting NATO's eastern flank were imperative goals. He also said that the region should expect further provocations from Moscow and Minsk in the coming months. Polish borders Russia, Belarus, and Ukraine, he said, making it unique among European Union members. Together, they total nearly 800 miles. You can't even begin to fathom how unstable the whole region is right now. Conflicts with the neighbors. Last month, Polish Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki issued a warning that 100 Wagner fighters were heading toward the Suwalki Gap, a narrow strip of land separating Belarus and the Russian exclave of Kaliningrad in Poland and Lithuania. The three Baltic states of Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia are geographically isolated from the rest of NATO if any outside force were to take control of the region. Military helicopters from Belarus were allegedly spotted in Polish airspace last week, prompting accusations from Warsaw. The Polish border buildup was a response to this far-fetched accusation, according to Minsk. But earlier this month, Belarus's president stoked tensions by suggesting that Wagner fighters had been planning a excursion into a Polish border town if they weren't stopped. Lithuania shares these concerns. Morawiecki met with President of Lithuania Gitana Nausėda in the Suwalki region last week. After the meeting, Nausėda posted on Twitter that the presence of Wagner mercenaries in Belarus posed a security threat to Lithuania, Poland, and other NATO allies. We keep watch and are ready for anything that might happen. Belarus has announced military exercises near its borders with Poland and Lithuania this week, saying it will be drawing on the experience of the special military operation, the name Russia uses for its full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Russia's tactical nuclear weapons that Putin had promised to transfer to his ally last month are rumored to be hiding in Belarus. The war is dragging on, and on Wednesday, Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu said the Kremlin would strengthen its forces on its western borders in response to the accusation that Poland planned to occupy western Ukraine. This accusation has been denied by both Kyiv and Warsaw. Ambassador Magierowski called Shoigu's remarks as outlandish as it gets, and he claimed that Russian officials were attempting to sow discord between Ukraine and Poland. He warned that in the coming months, efforts to weaponize what he called a migration crisis at the border between Poland and Belarus will increase, and that the United States and its allies should prepare for further provocations along the border. The presence of the mercenary fighters is seen by Poland as a new development in a long-running campaign in which Belarus has been actively encouraging migrants to cross the border illegally in order to destabilize the West. In an interview with NBC News, NATO spokeswoman Ona Lungescu said the alliance had significantly bolstered its defensive presence in the east and would continue to do whatever was necessary to deter any threat and protect every inch of Allied territory. According to her, NATO is keeping a close eye on all military activity in Belarus. Although Lungescu and his team have not seen any direct or imminent military threat from Wagner mercenaries, they are still keeping a close eye on the situation. As tensions rose on Friday, Lukashenko unexpectedly tried to defuse the situation by telling his prime minister to get in touch with Warsaw, to re-establish relations. He joked that neighbors aren't something you get to pick because they are from God. The likelihood of a direct confrontation between the Kremlin and Poland and, by extension, NATO, remains low. Former British military intelligence officer and senior lecturer in law and strategy at Portsmouth University, Frank Ledwidge, made this claim. To calm the nerves of its citizens who live on the border with Belarus, Warsaw is justified in sending more troops there, he continued. Poland's right-wing government will be anxious to look strong on national security ahead of parliamentary elections in October. Kimberly Martin, a political science professor at Barnard College, Columbia University, said that Putin has used the mercenaries' movements and exercises in Belarus as an implicit and murky threat to NATO's eastern members, forcing them to devote additional resources to border defense. She speculated that Russia's actions were intended to be a nuisance in order to test NATO's preparedness, to divert NATO resources and attention from Ukraine and the Black Sea, and perhaps to complicate internal political discussions in Poland. To keep the rebel Wagner forces occupied, Martin added, giving them a mission outside Russia, but near enough for Russia to watch closely.